You guys, this week I literally found out that there's such a thing as compartmentalization of stress, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. So do you ever feel like life is just happening all at once and you feel so stressed out? I literally just discovered a life skill that is so necessary. I never knew there was such a thing as compartmentalizing your stress until my pastor just briefly talked about it on Sunday. So what is compartmentalization of stress? It is a mental strategy where you separate different areas of your life so that stress doesn't bleed into everything. So you know how, for example, if you go to work, you can feel very much stressed out from work, right? There are some people who go to work, they feel stressed out, they come home and they literally spread like the whole vibe in the household. For example, I do that. This is just like, oh wow, I never knew this was such a thing, right? So imagine going to work, you feel so stressed out, you close work by 6 o'clock and you come home to your house or whatever and you live with people, right? Imagine you come home and then you begin to act very antsy, very irritated from work, right? This is where compartmentalizing your stress comes in, because it's kind of like a mental strategy where you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna leave my work stress at work, and when I enter my house, I'm literally gonna be like a brand new person and not spread, the stress vibe to everyone. Basically, without this mental strategy, stress from one area of your life can just ruin your whole mood. In some ways, it's kind of like a stress management skill. Everyone needs it, especially in this Lagos. So why do people struggle with stress management? One example is overlapping of responsibilities, right? So take, for example, an African mom. She has to wake up in the morning, take care of her home, take care of her child, if she has one, take the child to school, have to drive to work, have to deal with her boss, have to come home, take care of her husband when she's done from work, cook, put the kids to sleep. It's a lot of responsibilities, right? It's a lot of mental stress. And if care is not taken, it can easily feel very mentally draining, especially when one feels like, oh, everything needs to be handled right now. Me, I do this all the time where one stress in one area of my life, it could be my finance, or I can't afford this, or I need more money. And you just feel very, very irritated, You guys can relate. I mean, if you are, not financially free, there are times where you can really stress about your finances and it can really mess up your mood, and that just ends up spreading across to people. Like it just becomes like a vibe, like an aura that you carry around of like you're just so irritated. Why? Because you're just worrying about one thing, stressing about one thing, one area in your life, and it just feels very consuming. This is where compartmentalization of stress comes in. So how do we compartmentalize our stress? So number one is to mentally separate the different aspects of your life. I know it sounds very hard, but this is something I'm practicing, and I think it is such a key skill. You know how you arrange like your clothes? I don't know about you, but for me, I have an area where I keep my jeans, I have an area where I keep my skirts, where I fold them together, my tops I hang, my normal dresses for the house I keep it somewhere as well. It's kind of like what you have to do with your brain as well. You have to create mental boxes for your brain, and in that mental box you put a place for work, a place for like work stress, a place for relationship stress, a place for financial stress, a place for home stress, a place for self-care as well. So for example, when you leave work, you tell yourself, when I'm going home, I'm not stressing. If that means entering your room as soon as you get home and just laying on your bed and sleeping, then that is what needs to be done. If that means not communicating with people in your house, then that is what needs to be done. Like, there are just days where I feel so stressed and it's like I feel like I need to let this stress out, and so I now adopt like a sense of self-care, and for me it's going out somewhere to eat by myself, and it just helps me calm down. When dealing with one stress, don't let another stress come in. Do you understand? Deal with one stress at a time, because then when you begin to stress about everything, you begin to feel very overwhelmed and very irritated. Let your mind focus on one stress, and just try, you guys. Oh my god, I know it's so hard, especially after I found out about it, and I'm still trying to like incorporate it. There's sometimes where I'm thinking about maybe work and like my finance. I'm like, you know what, right now let me just try and focus on one thing, right? And I just choose to focus on what I can control. That's also another important one. Another one is to set boundaries, right? Set boundaries. So for example, don't let your relationship stress distract you when you're working. I know it's hard, especially for women. My friend will call me sometimes when she's at work, oh, this guy is so annoying. It's actually possible to train your brain to compartmentalize and like focus on one thing, or rather one stress at a time. Like, it is actually a skill. So I want to keep the video very short. Number 3 is to have outlets. So if that for me looks like working out, there are days where in the morning I literally wake up very worried. Sometimes I go on walks, I work out. I love being active. Going on walk helps me, helps my mind, helps to declutter my mind, because sometimes honestly, like, the devil really gets into our minds and we just feel very foggy, like we're in one place but our mind isn't there. We need to, this year 2025, we're taking over our minds, we're taking over our spirit, soul and body. You guys, that is the goal for this year. We're taking over everything. That means that you have to now look for hobbies or outlets for yourself. Then do that. Discover hobbies. Go and paint. Go out in nature. If you don't have money to do anything, go out in nature. Go on a walk. They're not paying you don't have to pay to walk on the road. It's free. Find a place, walk around, go out with friends, find an outlet. There are so many outlets, guys. It's not only gym is not the only outlet. Get a therapist. That one is another one. Although I think therapy in Nigeria is actually quite ridiculous. Personally, I got a therapist once, and till date, I really don't know what she really did in my life, to be honest. I never walked out of that therapy feeling like, oh, I need to go and think of my life. No, it didn't really help. But get a therapist if you know a good one, or a friend to talk to. Sometimes talking really helps to ease stress. Sharing really helps. Develop a reset ritual. So for me, every Sunday, for example, I love to remove my carpet from my room, clean up my room, rearrange, reorganize, and then rearrange my room if it helps. Like, it really does help me kind of like prepare for the new week. I do that every Sunday or every weekend, I believe. So yeah, a reset ritual can look very different to another person, right? There are so many rituals. You can also try mindfulness, mindful breathing. There's sometimes I go for these mindfulness classes, and literally it helps me when I get out of those classes. There's one in VI. I don't know, you can check them out. They're called the Happiness Program. They are really good when it comes to breath work. For me right now, there's like so much stressors in my life currently, and having discovered this skill on Sunday, immediately I heard it, I'm like, ding, I need to Google what that is, compartmentalization of stress. Like, when I heard it, obviously I had an idea of what it was, but when I began to research, I realized that it's an actual life skill, right? So for me these days, when I find myself stressing over some areas of my life or things that are out of control, I kind of like recenter. Sometimes I go to God in prayer about it, and I choose to not think about it. It's out of my control. I choose to not think about things that are out of my control, because when I stress about them, they ruin my day. I'm not even joking. They ruin my day. I begin to behave very irritated to everyone around me. Although now I'm kind of like controlling it, because sometimes when I feel irritated, I just enter my room and I lock my door. Unlike before, where it's like everyone will know that I'm irritated. Like, currently I'm trying to work on the way I stress about things in my life or areas of my life. Obviously, you're not going to get this life skill at once. It takes practice. Practice makes perfect. As someone who is trying to adopt this kind of mindset, right, I can tell you for sure that it will take time, especially if you're someone who stresses a lot like me, and especially if you're an overthinker like me. Guys, I can think about 10 things at a time. I'm not even joking. Just go easy on yourself, right? Try it, because I found out about it and it's something that I felt like I really needed, especially as someone who tends to spread the irritability to everyone else, right? It's something I'm practicing, so practice makes perfect, guys. I have come to the end of this video. Try compartmentalizing your stress this week and leave a comment below and tell me what you think about this life skill, right? Yeah, guys, and that is it for my video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Today I'm wearing Vogue vibes. I'm about to leave. I'm about to head out to Lekki, so that's why my video is kind of short, and I think I like keeping it short because the editing just makes it easier for me. Do you understand? So yeah, have a lovely rest of your week, guys. Bye. Love you. Mwah.